What is up, boys and girls? It is the man without any type of plan here, Lizer, back at it again with another episode of the Animation Revaluation podcast. And with me, as always, are my co-hosts, Jay and James. What's up, guys?
Hey, yo, how's it going?
Going good, man. Going good. How's everyone's week been?
Pretty good.
As if we didn't just have like a hour-long conversation.
I've just been working like straight, so it's nice to finally be off.
You tried working gay?
What?
Huh?
What'd you say?
Nothing.
Been fighting off the sad way for the past week.
Just a week, that's it?
It's only gotten this bad like this week.
You gotta step up your game, bro. I've been a sad man for about 27 years, bro.
That's how old you are.
Get on my level. Hey, Jess. Jess says hi.
I
Hi, Jess.
What did we do last time? We did Senko-san last time.
Yes.
James wasn't here. He skipped out to watch Spider-Man.
I was. What'd you guys think of Spider-Man?
Into the Spider-Verse? We gotta wait, man. You gotta wait until you do your review.
Oh no, I was talking about this one. The one that you guys know, the one that just came out. What'd you guys think?
What are you talking about? We can't talk about that right now.
We can't talk. What do you mean we can't talk about?
You gotta wait until at least Christmas over before you bring up Spider-Man No Way Home. As we got review embargoes right now, bro.
Respectfully.
You trying to get me assassinated if I even bring this shit up?
Respectfully.
But yeah, we had the topic of Spider-Man come up, and you missed out because you went to go see it. Me and Jay had already seen it. But that was your choice for this week, was to watch the animated Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. So how about you tell us a little bit about that? Like, why'd you choose this?
Well, as like I mentioned, the Spider-Man seems like it was just one of those movie of the year kind of thing going on, and I feel like everybody just has Spider-Man on their brain, so I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna review this one because it also talks about the multiverse, and it's animated, and it has, well, it didn't have. You know what? You guys should just watch the other Spider-Man, so you find out. I don't want to spoil anything.
We here at Lizerville Industries are not responsible for James saying any spoilers by accident.
Exactly. I can't contain myself sometimes.
But understandable, you had Spider-Man on the brain.
Yeah.
And it fits because it's an animated movie.
It was.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about it. What's it about?
Well, as you may know, I know it's no spoiler. Spider-Man is Peter Parker, the one and only Spider-Man. But what if I told you he wasn't?
He's not Peter Parker?
That he wasn't the only Spider-Man.
Oh,
Wait, there's more of them?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I'll just start off from the beginning where the movie starts off in Brooklyn with a kid named Miles Morales. I think I got a picture.
I got you.
Give me. Oh, got me. Thank you. Yes. Oh, wait, I think I got a picture too. Or did I send it? There we go. Sorry. All right, and it starts off with him in his first day to it was like a good-looking like private school, and I guess he like won some kind of lottery. As far as I noticed, it was some kind of like it was like I can't really say anymore. It was just a fancy private school that seemed like they just called it he won like a lottery, I guess. So it's kind of like one of those schools where you have to pass this entrance exam, and it's like you couldn't. Not a lot of people get into it unless you're like smart as fuck. But I guess like since he like grew up in like I guess like in the I guess in public school, he just had trouble adjusting, and it came to a point where he purposely tried to fail, and there was like this multiple choice test, but he got like 0 out of 100, but his teacher gave him like 100%, because it's like the only way you can get a 0 on a multiple choice test, because it's if you knew all the answers.
Yeah, she said it was a true false test, so there was only 2 options, and the only way you could get that is if you knew all the answers and chose the opposite.
Yeah, because statistically speaking, in a multiple choice, you can only get like 50% right. And pretty much after school, he goes sees his uncle. Uncle Aaron. I think I got a picture of him as well. I do.
It doesn't help if you send them to general, dude.
Oh, am I sending in the wrong one? Oh my god. Embarrassing.
Good job.
It's right, it's you guys. I want you guys to know how he looks like. Not like you already saw him.
Like I definitely can't click on that while we're live. I can't click on general.
My bad. And he's really close to his uncle. Almost like equivalent to Peter Parker's Uncle Ben. And well, they get along so well, and I guess his uncle takes him to this like abandoned part of the subway. I think it was a subway. They just went underground, so I assumed it was a subway.
It like connects to the subway, yeah.
Okay, I don't live in New York, so I don't know. And he goes and like, I guess he goes a tag. He goes tagging, I guess, like graffiti. I wouldn't know what to call it.
Yeah, tagging.
Yeah. Because I guess that's how Miles expresses himself. Because I know in the beginning he's like throwing up like stickers and like artwork and stuff. He's always like drawing in his little notepad. So it's just like,
yeah, he's very artistic. My doctor told me I was artistic too, but I might have misheard him.
Okay.
Anyway.
Well, right when he finished like tagging, like right before he was gonna dip, he gets bit by a spider, and well, like as you know, it's not your regular old spider, especially like when you see the spider like pretty much throughout the beginning of the movie, it's like all glitching and it's all like, I don't know, it's all glowing, it's all like, it's very, you could tell that it's not your regular dearly old spider. And then like when they bit into him, it's like you could see it like his cells kind of like changing or whatever. And then like he doesn't think much of it until like the next day, where like he realized like to his understanding, he feels like he just like went through like puberty, because it's like he like get taller, or like
he got taller.
Yeah, he got taller.
Fun fact, apparently like if you like measure his body while it's showing like him sleeping, you can actually see him grow.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Because I noticed like it was like a little like time lapse kind of thing going as like he slept, but like I didn't put together that like he was like growing. I thought just like,
bro, he's like, I need new pants.
It's like, did I hit puberty? His friend is there. He's like,
probably shouldn't have said that loud.
He's just going down the hall like panicking. It's like, wow, she's tall. It's like, all right, Miles, focus. She was really tall, but like, focus.
Well, when Miles was trying to figure out more about, I guess, the spider, because he goes back to where he got bit, like where he went with his uncle, but I guess a little bit more deep in, he notices that there's like a fight going on between Spider and the Green Goblin. I guess Spider-Man's there to stop Super Collider from going off, which I guess what Spider-Man was saying, that can create a black hole under Brooklyn. So it's pretty much, Spider-Man doing his thing, trying to protect his neighborhood. And then in the middle of the fight, he ends up meeting Miles. and pretty much tells him that he's gonna, show him the way. And well, more and more villains pop up, and well, Spider-Man gets knocked out, and well, let's just say the villains take advantage of the situation and leaving Miles on his own.
I don't like the way you said that.
Hey.
They knocked Spider-Man out and took advantage of him? What the fuck? Did they diddle my boy? Did they diddle Peter?
They diddle him.
My God.
That was his.
I didn't want to like spoil it or anything, but now that I made it, maybe I didn't put the right words to that.
What do you mean spoil? We're literally talking about the movie. You can't spoil it. We're talking about the movie.
Well, I didn't want to say that he died.
But that's literally the point. You're talking about the movie. That's a major plot point of the movie that you gotta talk about.
Okay, yes. Okay, he died. Like they killed him. They killed Spider-Man.
Yeah, with like one punch, bro. Crazy.
I know.
Fisk is One Punch Man.
Fisk. Did you see how swole he looked? He's like,
Bro.
I don't know why they made him so big.
That's 100% grade A American Angus beef right there, my guy. USDA approved. Let's go.
USDA approved.
Because I don't know about you guys, I really got used to like the Fisk in the Netflix Daredevil.
Yeah.
Like him, like I thought he played like Fisk very well.
Yeah.
And then going from that to like this 100% Angus guy, it's just it was a bit much, but I mean
That was the funny thing too.
okay.
Like when this movie came out, a lot of people were complaining about his size, and I was like, read a fucking comic, bro. They make him like 2 stories tall.
Not about the money, Spider-Man.
It's about the Mets. All about the Mets, baby. Let's go Mets.
Oh no.
Well, I guess apparently Kingpin made this super collider because his family also died, and he's just trying to get his family back, even if that means getting them from another dimension. But while this super collider is like going off, I guess while Spider-Man's fighting Green Goblin, I don't know how the best way to explain it. He puts Peter into, I guess, in the blast.
Yeah, like the beam that came out of it.
Yeah, and then due to that kind of reaction, it causes other Spider-Man from the other they're not Spider-Verses, but other multiverse areas that have spider people to Miles's universe. And when actually, let me rewind a little bit. Where after he dies, there's a memorial, and was it Mary Jane who hosted the memorial?
She like made a speech.
Yeah, and there was a little Stan Lee cameo as well.
Yeah, actually his last cameo ever.
I know. It made me so sad. And let me see.
Oh, I guess his last recorded cameo. 'Cause I think his cameo from the game, I think the game came out after the movie.
The Miles Morales or the other one?
The Spider-Man PS4 game.
Okay. Oh, pretty much after the memorial, like, Miles tries to test out his powers, but he ends up breaking. What did they call it? It was like a goober. It was a goober.
A little USB thing. Dude, can we talk about him testing out his powers though?
Yeah.
Because he gets to the top of the building and it's like he's amping
Like
himself
too
up,
high.
and he's just too high. So he goes back down. He looks at it. He looks around at the buildings and sees a shorter one, and he's like, "All right, I'll do this one." He runs and he trips on a shoelace that people keep telling him about, and almost
Alright.
dies.
Yeah.
I was
I
really
thought-
expecting
He's already
like
died a few times because of that shoelace.
Yeah, I was really expecting like a Tobey Maguire, like my back, oh my back.
I mean, didn't he land like at the edge of a curb?
he like hit like a scaffolding or something and like a light post. He hit fucking electrical wires and didn't die. I don't know how that works, because he hit like all three.
Aren't those telephone wires?
Electrical.
Are they electrical?
Yeah.
Hmm.
He hit like all three of them. Didn't get shocked at all, and then lands on the USB in his pocket.
Sure. Let's see. Oh, I guess when he, after he breaks it, he goes to where Peter was buried. But then, during then, he meets somebody kind of looks like Peter, who just died, but a little bit different. A lot older. I think he was like, what, like 15 years older than the other
I think
Spider-Man?
like 12,
Was it 12?
because I think the Peter that died was 26, and this guy is like 38.
Yeah, he said it was because he said like he said he was Spider-Man for like 22 years, and then he said it was like 15 years later.
Yeah.
But pretty much like he looks nothing like the Spider-Man that died, because the Spider-Man that died looked like your iconic, like perfect Spider-Man, while this guy kind of looked a little bit like at worst to wears.
Yeah, like being Spider-Man really worked out a lot for the Peter that died. Like he was popular, and he seemed to always have been successful. He had an album he released. He was like wholly loved. Meanwhile, this Spider-Man seemed to have like a lot of issues in his life, and they explained that like he started off okay, and then he like got married to MJ, and then she wanted kids, and he was like scared of that, and they broke it off, and his Aunt May died. He just like spiraled and got like fat and sad and depressed, and he's like yeah, I was at home like, you know, doing sit-ups, doing curls, you know, getting buff, and in reality he was eating pizza, like crying in the shower.
Yeah.
Which is a huge mood.
Oh, and when he talks about seahorses.
Yeah. It's like, did you know seahorses mate for life? His voice trembles a little bit. Like I never noticed that until I listened with headphones, and he's getting emotional about it.
Yeah, he's like, can you imagine a seahorse to
So,
another seahorse?
This is supposed to be like the rundown, like loser Spider-Man. Like he's been through the outs of life, and he's just like ready to retire.
The way that I feel like that.
Same.
I just feel like I just feel like retiring.
Same.
I've had enough. Let me.
His
Sorry.
name is like Peter B. Parker or something.
Yeah.
If I
Yes.
remember right.
To differentiate, I mean, all Peter Parkers are Peter B. Parker because his middle name's Benjamin, canonically.
All right.
But that's just how they differentiate this one from the one who's dead. It's Peter
Okay.
B.
Peter B. Parker. Because oh wait, no,
PvP.
I'll get to that in a second. Also, I didn't clarify that when he meets that Peter, he accidentally shocks him.
He accidentally almost fucking kills him.
I was like, you see that electric shock that you should have seen when he fell off the building on those electro wires?
He absorbed it.
Yeah. But he doesn't really think about where that where that came from or anything. It's just something that kind of just happens. And then I guess Miles, after knocking him out, Miles takes him to his place to get some answers, but Peter is kind of like reluctant to help him. But Miles like guilt trip him to tag along and help him out and get him to show him the way. They go to this. I like phrasing it the way. And then they go to a place. I think it was Alchemix.
First they get burgers.
Oh right. Was it that Spider-Man said that, or Peter? He said that in his universe the place was closed down.
Yeah, I like the little joke that they add there. He's like, oh, I never knew why. And if you look at the back, it has a C health rating.
I didn't notice that. I was trying to read their like what was on their menu, but I didn't notice. I didn't notice the health thing.
Yeah, it's just like a really grody restaurant. It's just gross.
Damn. That's what makes it so good. And what's it called? Oh, wait. So pretty much they have to go to Alchemax, just because since he destroyed the goober, they have to make another goober. So they have to pretty much break in, get all this intel, and put it on a USB drive, just so that they could stop the collider.
Yeah, they got to get the intel from like the head scientist. I like that they were like doing the whole plan, and in the plan, Peter is gonna go after the male scientist, and Miles is like, oh no, it's the female one with the bike. I saw her on a class film. And he's like, oh, I'm gonna reevaluate my like my thought patterns or whatever. Here she is.
Yeah.
Olivia. What cool little
Olivia
thing.
Octavius.
Yeah, cool little thing. When they showed the film, like Miles gets into class late and his head is blocking part of the screen, so it only shows her first name. So us, like the first time you watch this, you don't know her last name is Octavius because it just says Olivia.
Right.
And that's like supposed to be the big reveal, like, oh, it's Octavius.
Sick. You know, when she said her name, I was like, wait a fucking minute.
Let me guess, your friends call you Doc Ock. No, my enemies call me Doc Ock. My friends call me Liv. It's like, I love her. And then later on, Aunt May is like, oh, it's Liv. I'm like, they're friends.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, like, it just like I really like that about that. It's like, yeah, she's a villain, but like villains can't be villains like 100% of the time.
Yeah, like they're like friends on the weekend, and then she tries to kill her nephew like Monday through Friday.
Although I don't know if she I don't know if I think Aunt May already knew that like she tried to kill Spider-Man, and from the look of I don't know if Aunt May knew prior to Spider-Man dying, if she already knew.
It seems like she did. It seems like she did.
I just found that so weird that like they're friends, but she knew that she always tried to kill Spider-Man, you know? Which I don't know, I just found that kind of freaky.
They're probably around the same age. She probably knew her before she was a villain.
Maybe. Let me see where I left off. Oh, I guess during when they broke into the Alchemax, he turned invisible, which is like another power that I guess they realized.
Yeah, I was gonna try to look for a picture of that, and I was like, well, he's invisible, so what the fuck would I show? So it doesn't make any sense.
Like the weird blue outline, I guess.
But they don't even show that at first. They show that later.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, like he in all sense he's invisible, but like they made him kind of like a little like the blue island or whatever, so we could see him. Because if they just make him invisible, just kind of defeat the purpose.
It's to save on animation budget.
And then they barely make it out, but they're introduced into another Spider-Man that came into that universe. Gwen Stacy.
Yeah.
And she actually made an appearance earlier on Miles' first day of school, but she was going off her name. Was it Gwanda? Actually?
What's your name? Gwanda? Gwanda. It's African. South African. Because
without the accent.
Yeah, because I grew up here.
And he's like, hey.
Shoulder touch. Hey.
Oh man.
But his powers are still going haywire, so her hair gets like stuck to his hand, like gets ripped out.
She already knew, like she didn't show it, but like when she was like telling him to like relax, like she already knew by then that he already was Spider-Man.
Yeah, because it shows earlier he's walking down the hall and he walks past her, and she has that moment of like when the spider sense goes off, but he doesn't realize it because he doesn't know what the spider sense is.
Yeah, and he's like panicking and
Yeah.
whatnot.
Did he like rip a chunk out of her hair?
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
I thought that was.
I like your haircut. You're not allowed to like my
I
haircut.
like her haircut. Yeah.
I really did like her haircut.
It did look cool afterwards. The side shave.
Who's just like a handprint?
No, after she's like fixed it up.
Yeah. And well, after that, I guess they head over to Aunt May's and they meet 3 other spider people.
Yes.
And I have a picture of all of them right here. Did I send it? No, I did.
There you go.
I don't know if it shows. I don't know if it shows all of them. And-
Almost all of them.
Missing the black
Noir.
and white one. Yeah.
Noir, yeah.
Noir,
Oh,
33
yeah.
Spider-Man.
I got you.
oh yeah, I was about to send that.
Looks so cool.
So you have
Good old
what
Nick
was
Cage, baby.
Was it Peter Porker?
Yes.
And then you have Penny Parker, and then I think Peter Noir, not Peter Noir.
Peter
but
Noir.
Spider Noir. My bad. He was also named Peter Parker,
Yeah.
but
Yes.
it was just Spider-Man Noir.
Yes. Private
And-
Eye.
Yes.
Do you want to like run
And
through
then-
their origins real quick, or you just want to skip that? Or like, do you want me to do it?
Do you guys remember their origins?
So Peter Porker was a spider who got bit by a radioactive pig and became Spider Pig.
Yeah.
Gwen is basically the same story as Peter but reversed. She's the girl. Peter becomes the lizard. She fights him. He accidentally dies. She's living with like guilt and remorse and continues as Spider Woman. Everyone just calls her Spider Gwen though. There's a million fucking Spider Womans in the Marvel universe. We already know Peter B. Parker's backstory. You already know Miles's backstory. And Penny Parker is from the future. In this like, she's like this very anime-esque character. A fun fact: she's created by lead singer of My Chemical Romance, Gerard Way.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
and she has like this psychic connection to this mystical spider being that lives inside of this robot built by her father, and she connects with it and uses it to fight injustices and evil. There you go.
Boom.
Easy clap.
Oh wait, Noir.
And you forgot about Noir. Yeah.
Noir is just the basic Noir version of Spider-Man. He still has the whole thing of like his uncle dying. The actual like canon comic thing for that is a lot darker. His uncle's like eaten by Vulture, and yeah, he's like a gung-ho, like guns a-blazing type of Spider-Man. He doesn't have webs in his comic, but they gave him webs for this, I guess, to fit in with everyone. In his comic, he does no web swinging. He's just fucking punching and shooting people.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just saw him just like punch. So it's just punch. Didn't he say like all he did was like go and punch Nazis? 'Cause I guess there was Nazis in his universe still.
Yeah.
Was it like? Is it like present time or is it like in the past?
Oh no, it's definitely in the
It's the
past.
30s.
It was the 30s.
Yeah.
It's from the 30s.
And well, after Miles meets all the Spider people, they start giving a hard time, I guess, just because there's, I guess, to like with stopping the collider and everything going down, like Miles doesn't fully understand his powers and like what it takes to be Spider-Man yet. So like all these other Spider people, they already know what's up and like what it means, and then what you have to do for, I guess, for the greater, what would you call it, greater good.
Yeah, they've already realized the like with great power comes great responsibility lesson, because they've all been Spider people for a while now.
Yeah.
They know how their powers work and everything. Miles has been Spider-Man for like a day and a half. He can't even use his powers on command.
So he doesn't have that lesson.
Yeah.
But he does get that lesson a little later when the villains go knock into Aunt May's house, and
they get swatted.
FBI, open up!
pretty much they get swatted, and Miles gets almost taken out by I didn't bring him up, but one of the villains was named Prowler. And
So
then
cool.
and then you realize that Prowler is none other than his uncle.
Uncle
think I-
Aaron.
Yes.
Uncle Aaron. And to him that was just like a big like
To be honest, that would have been me too. I don't even know how. I wouldn't be able to like function properly after that, especially with like how close they were.
Yeah.
They were like super close.
I wouldn't even
And
know if that was
it's-
like somebody was trying to kill me and then they took off the mask. It's just
So-
it's either you or Lizer. Just like under the mask. And I'm like, what?
Because to be honest, I've had such a like I relate really well to the relationship that Miles had with his uncle,
Yeah.
because that's exactly pretty much how mine was with my uncle. Very wholesome.
So upon realizing that his uncle was the Prowler, um, right when the Prowler was going to kill him, Miles shows his face to his uncle that it's like, hey, it's me, it's Miles. And then realizing it's Miles, he stops, even though Kingpin like gives him the order to like kill him. But it's like I can't kill my nephew. It's like, you know, he's really close to his nephew, so he's not gonna hurt his nephew. But Kingpin ends up pretty much killing him because he couldn't do what he was supposed to do. So this is when he learns his lesson. He got I call it he got Uncle Bend.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, so Uncle Aaron was his Uncle Ben. I felt the scene lacked a little sadness. I mean, like, I don't know, like I compared to like the original Uncle Ben or like all the other scenes.
That's kind of the point though, because he doesn't get the chance to like really have that moment with him because he's in a rush because his father comes up
Yeah.
and he can't let his father know that he's Spider-Man. That chance is like ripped away from him to have that like
Yeah.
closure moment.
Although he doesn't give him like the line. He just tells him like, hey, you just gotta keep going.
Yeah, you're gonna be the best of all of us, type of thing.
Yeah. And then pretty much after this scene, he does like a lot of like self-reflecting, and he gets a lot of advice from the rest of the Spider Gang, and he gets his shit together. And he realized that he was just kind of doubting what he had to do, and all he had to do was just he just needed a leap of faith.
Yeah, but it's kind of like you were just saying the Uncle Ben thing. It doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily happen with his uncle. His father kind of steps in and constitutes that when he goes to visit him. But they've, the other Spider people have webbed Miles up to the chair so he can't answer the door. But his father basically gives him that type of speech. And that's when he's like able to find it within himself to do what needs to be done.
Oh yeah, I guess that was the scene. I guess. Yeah, you're right. I didn't really get that when I watched it. Like I took more of it that he was close to his uncle, because I guess throughout the movie he was never really close to his father. Like
He's
like,
close to his father, but his interests divide. So he basically has two father figures that feed different things. His father is feeding him the educational side, and then his uncle is feeding him the artistic side.
yeah. After that, he then, I guess, he gets the goober, I guess, because he goes and because all the spider people go ahead of him.
Yeah, they have the goober.
Oh, they have the goober.
Yeah.
And then he goes off and takes the goober from them because in the end he has the one
Yeah.
to like save everybody and send everybody home because their plan was to pretty much like one of them stays while the rest goes.
You're really skipping over the coolest part of the movie.
What part?
When he gets his suit and does the leap of faith.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's
That's
everybody has their own
crazy.
suit. Everybody
Bro,
has their own suit.
bro. And it shows the symbolism
So
of him
tight.
jumping, and then they reversed it so it looks like he's rising above the buildings because he's finally rose above his issues. And also the fact that like when he first went into the cave and saw the suits, he looked at the Spider-Man suit and his face is at the chest, and then he goes back again and looks, and it matches the face now, and it repeats what Stan Lee said earlier, where it always fits eventually.
Mm-hmm.
You're just gonna skip that, man? You're just gonna do my boy like that, bro?
I mean, I knew he graffitied his shirt, like he spray painted it, right? Did he spray paint the whole thing?
Yeah, that kind of worries me, honestly, because I've used spray paint before, and he just immediately spray paints his suit and runs out. My guy is dying. He's inhaling all of that.
How can he breathe through his mask?
My guy's gonna have brain damage by the end of his fight.
I was just surprised how well it looked all spray painted. Because I mean, like his logo looks spray painted.
It is,
but everything else looks like black. Like it looks like slick. Like it doesn't look spray painted. Like it looks like really good. And well, yeah. So he gets his iconic suit because before he didn't have nothing. He just got that merch suit that he got from Stan, and he pretty much sends everybody back to their own dimension, and he stops Kingpin and becomes the one and only Spider-Man.
yeah.
Where Kingpin's fade.
Yeah, he really did. With the hay. With the shoulder touch hay.
Oh, bro, I cried, man.
That Stan Lee line is one of my favorites. Yeah, and your boyfriend was gonna freaking skip it. Crazy.
I remember I was so happy that he had because when they went to the spider lair, like one of the many suits that Spider-Man had, like one of them had a cape.
Yeah, because he had brought it up earlier, and Peter B. Parker was like, Spider-Man doesn't wear a cape.
Wear a cape. It's kind of insulting. It's like, hey, this one has a cape.
Looked like his the regular Spider-Man suit, but like with almost like a Doctor Strange looking kind of cape.
Yeah,
that's exactly what it is.
Oh, okay. I wanted to make sure. I was like, that cape looks very familiar.
Yeah, that's literally that one.
Oh, well, I didn't. It just looked like it, so I didn't know.
Yeah, there's also it's quick, but the suit from the PS4 game is there.
I was trying to figure out like all the different
suits. There's so many. They're like all of those are real suits from like comics and movies and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it ends with him saving the day, and he learns his lesson and all that. It ends with him like swinging and doing the whole like, this is the last time we're gonna do it, and giving his origin story type thing. And he's like laying in bed, and then the portal opens. You hear Gwen like, hey, you got a minute? And it cuts the credits, and the after credit scene, of course, with Spider-Man 2099. He has the watch that can like open up portals.
Yeah.
And I think that's coming next year.
Yep.
I think.
And then it ends with Nueva York in the 60s with the "Don't point at me."
Nueva York.
I love these memes. They're just so good.
And that pretty much sums up the movie. Oh, the freaking bagel.
Oh yeah, it's like he took a bagel.
And then he throws it at them, and it does like, instead of like pow or anything, it just says bagel.
Yeah. I thought that was so funny. He's like, he got bageled. and that was part of his plan before he broke into it.
Yeah.
He knew that there would be bagels, and he was going to steal it. But yeah,
Great stuff overall.
Indeed. What's your thoughts on it, James? Since you brought it up.
my thoughts of it. I mean, I watched it multiple times before. I actually own it. But I mean, I really liked it. I don't really know much about, like, this is like the first movie that gave me a lot of insight of who Miles Morales was.
Really?
I watched like an episode of like Spider-Man Ultimate where he goes into like the multiverse. He goes like into another universe, and I think he's like chasing down somebody, and then he meets Miles. And then I guess that's like he's the Spider-Man of that universe.
Yeah, because that Peter's dead.
Yeah, and like that was kind of like a little my intro to him, but I didn't know much about him, let alone his like origin story.
So this is actually, I prefer this origin story of Miles that they do in this movie compared to his original like Ultimate Comics origin story. It's not much different, but say like, you know, his relationship with Aaron, right?
Yeah.
It's a really wholesome relationship in this movie. He's a father figure to him. In the comics, Aaron knows he's Spider-Man beforehand and uses him to help him on heists. And it actually ends, it like culminates in Aaron's death. That's kind of like accidental involving Miles. And Aaron blames him for it as he's dying. And it like sticks with him and like traumatizes him.
Was that during the game too?
No.
No.
The Miles Morales PS5 game?
Yeah.
No, that's closer to this type of origin story.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but Aaron, spoilers, doesn't die in that game.
I still think the Prowler is so cool.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Super sick.
Like what, did he make that suit, or did he just get that suit? Like, or did like Kingpin give him that suit?
If it's anything like the comics, then he started off as like a petty thief, and over time just like did bigger and bigger heists as like a normal guy, and like bought the pieces and made it himself.
Wow.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah. And it gets to the point where he has like technology that can make him invisible.
Yeah.
It's like,
Then
this
he
is a
truly
normal
fits
ass
like
dude.
the Prowler. Like,
Yeah. He started off like robbing corner stores, and look at him now.
Yeah, I mean, he's very like in the movie, like when he's like going through like the city, like barely dodging like trains as like they're going. Like it seemed like he's it's not his first like rodeo trying to like chase somebody down.
Nah. But yeah, I like the origins that they give in this, and I like that, like, you know, I brought up Noir's origin before. It's a really gruesome origin, and they just kind of like don't really touch on it to keep the rating down. But this is a good intro to these characters for people who are interested in it. Like you said, this was like your first time learning about Miles.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know about Penny Parker. A hell of a lot of people don't know about Spider-Man 2099. Like, do you guys even know his real name?
Spider-Man 20.
don't actually.
Oh no.
It's Miguel
I mean-
O'Hara.
Wow.
Yeah. And fun fact about Spider-Man 2099. See how his suit was blue?
Yes.
It's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be black and red, and they even say it in his original comics, like the first couple of issues. The blue
Yeah.
was supposed to be like, they use blue to highlight black. Like they do it all the time for like Venom and Spawn and stuff.
Right.
But they just did so much that comic readers were like, oh, he's wearing a blue suit. And they kept saying it in the comic, like, no, it's black. The black suit, the guy in the black suit. And eventually they were just like, fuck it, we're not going to argue anymore. Fine, the suit's blue. And they just like gave up.
That's funny. I think the only other character I knew a little bit more, but like nothing of his origin story, is like Spider Pig.
He just came from a what if comic that they did back in like I think the 90s. It was just like
He
a
almost-
funny little side story thing.
He also was in the Simpsons movie.
Ha.
I mean, not like the actual Spider Pig.
Yeah.
But a Spider Pig was in the movie.
But well, what would you rate it?
I would rate it 10 out of 10 just because I really liked each character. I wish I knew more about like the other the Spider Gang people, like Penny Parker or Spider Noir or the other ones. But like I really got attached to like Miles Morales' mentor, Peter B. Parker, the older one. I also I'm a big fan of like the actor behind him. Like I thought he was like really perfect for the role because he's just like he was very like almost like how he is, and like in he pretty much portrayed the act. Like I thought he portrayed Spider-Man as if he was Peter Parker, or not Peter Parker, like Spider-Man also in a sense. Where it's just kind of like, oh, like I feel like his personality like leaked into the character, but he was also Spider-Man as well. So like I really like that, and then like that chemistry he had with Miles, like I really like that, and then with Gwen, and then they don't really talk about it, but like I know Peter Parker was like telling Miles that like you can't like save everybody.
Yeah.
And pretty much like it's like, hey, you're Spider-Man, like you have a great responsibility, but just know that you can't save everybody. And like so like he also has been through his own shit, but like they don't really talk about it. He just starts telling Miles that, but like I know they tell for Penny Parker as his father, like you were saying, and then Uncle Benjamin, Uncle Ben, and Peter Parker for Gwen Stacy, but they never really say about Peter Parker, what he went through or whatever. So like I wish there was like more. I mean, like they all were great. Like don't get me wrong. Like I really liked like each one. Like maybe in the future they'll have another make movies or something else for those Spider-Man. Maybe like we'll get maybe a standalone Penny Parker movie, or
Well, I know there was supposed to be a Spider Pig TV show. But then I know the voice actor John Mulaney, he ended up like going to rehab and doing a bunch of stuff. So I really don't know the status of that right now.
Yeah.
But they were definitely gonna do something with at least Spider Pig. As far as the others, I don't really know if they're ever gonna touch on them outside of the sequel movies, if they're even gonna be in those movies. We know at the very least we're getting 2 more sequels. At the very least.
Yeah.
They're naming this one Across the Spider-Verse Part 1. So there has to be at least a Part 2 to go along with that.
Nah, they just make the Part 1 and just leave it.
But I gave it a 10. I gave it a 10 out of 10.
Okay. How about you, Jay?
This is definitely a 10 for me.
All right.
I don't think I can get tired of this movie.
Oh, definitely not. I'll skip ahead right now and say I'm also rating it a 10. It's a great movie. No longer my favorite Spider-Man movie, I will say that, but it is an amazing movie.
It's up there.
Oh yeah.
It's my favorite animated Spider-Man movie.
Absolutely. And I like that it does a good job of like, you know, you're interested in these characters now, so at any point you could pick up a Spider-Man 2099 comic or a Penny Parker comic or anything like that, and or even just look up like the Wikipedia wiki facts and just like learn their history. Like, oh shit, that's cool.
I just wonder how they would like, because maybe like with Tom Holland like still continuing to be Spider-Man eventually, well when his contract is up, like they they go in to talk about Miles Morales, because I don't think a lot of people know about him still. So like,
well, they've
only,
hinted
like,
at him since the first Homecoming movie.
did they?
Yeah, because Spider-Man stops Aaron. Donald Glover's
Aaron?
character, his Uncle Aaron.
I don't think I put two and two together.
Yeah, that's him. That's supposed to be the Prowler, but it's before he's the Prowler. And he mentions like, oh, I got ice cream in the trunk. I gotta bring it to my nephew. So they're already setting up, and I guess spoiler for No Way Home, but there's a mention of, man, I thought Spider-Man was black. There's got to be a black Spider-Man out there.
Mhm.
I thought that was just a fun like poke at it. Like I it's like, there is.
Yeah, no, but they've definitely been setting it up already. So we'll see.
Yeah, I hope so.
I guess I had like a couple fun little things to mention. Like anytime people talk about this movie, they talk about the whole like the animation style to how they made it look like a comic, and it's like, oh, they animated on the tubes, like that thing. None of us are animators, so we don't really fucking know what that means. But we all play games, and we all know what an FPS is. Like, you know, this game runs at 60 FPS, you know? So, fun little fact, in the beginning of the movie, when Miles and Peter B are like going to Alchemax and doing all that stuff in the beginning, Peter B is animated at 24 frames a second, and Miles is animated half that at 12. And it's because he doesn't know how to do stuff yet. He's not confident. But at the end, he's animated at 24 with the rest of them. They're all animated at 24 frames a second.
I always thought that was crazy.
Yeah.
Like that they could do that with like just like a simple thing as like slowing down like a character's FPS.
Yeah.
It makes them like more slowish and sluggish, and then just speeding up that FPS make it seem like it's more fluid. But they use that to like to
show
kind
like
of portray
experience
that.
and stuff.
Yeah, so like I really like that. Like that's what like another thing like you were saying. Like I was aware of that. I don't know if you told me that like before, or did I just hear that before? But like I was aware that they did that.
Yeah.
And like that made me like appreciate it a lot more, that they actually like thought of doing that.
And I like all the little things that they leave in. Like the first time the collider goes off, you can actually see the light of all the other spider people being shot out of their universes. You just don't know what it is yet, especially on your first time watching. And like little things like the people behind this movie did I don't know if you guys ever heard of it, Clone High.
No.
I'll take that as a no. It wasn't very popular. It's gotten more popular over time, but it was like I think it was on MTV or Comedy Central. It was a cartoon years ago about like clones of historic people like Gandhi, JFK, Abraham Lincoln, all going to high school together and getting into like hijinks. So the people who made that are behind this movie. So when I think Gwen comes in and tells her backstory, they actually have a poster for Clone College, which is not a thing that exists, but it's like little Easter eggs that they put in, you know?
Interesting.
Yeah. And people saw that, looked up Clone High, got the popularity back up, and now it's being rebooted, so that's cool.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, love to see it. I love this movie, man. Like I was so hyped when you told me that it was gonna be this.
I mean, I'm glad. Yeah, I mean, it's just because it's Spider-Man. Everything. It's just you can't go wrong with Spider-Man.
Yeah. But before I say what we're doing for next week, you had something planned, didn't you, James?
I did. It's a little bit different than I originally was gonna do. So, it's a little trivia to you guys and anyone listening. It's a little trivia questions. You guys could work together, see if you guys know it. It was just like just random questions that that I just looked at the movie and be like, okay, I was like, let me see, like that's like how much you guys were paying attention, I guess, in a sense. But like you guys, as I was talking about this movie, you were making call outs compared to what I saw. So you guys should be really prepared for like all these questions. Should be like you should just blast right through them.
Until you give me something like the voice actor behind Miles, what was his third grade math exam score? I was like, I don't fucking
something
know.
color related.
Bro, I relate to Spider-Man Noir so hard. He's like, I don't understand this square thing.
this-
Like, it's a
yeah.
Rubik's Cube. I don't understand it either.
Some of these questions are we like almost weak. I think we also went through, so we'll see how it goes. All right. First question. Which Spider-Man first started to teach Miles how to use his powers?
Oh, Peter B. Parker.
Boom. Yes. Okay, it sounds a little bit trickier, but I'll surprise if you guys do, because what are Miles' parents' names?
Easy. Or do you want to do it, Jay?
I don't remember. I remember the dad's name, but I can't get the sound out because I've heard it so many times.
The dad's name is Jefferson Davis, and his mom's name is Rio Morales, and it pisses me off because his name is Miles Morales. Why is his name not Miles Davis? Makes no fucking sense.
Yeah, well, it's because every not Spider-Man, but like well, you could say every Spider-Man, but every classic superhero, like a superhero name, the first initial needs to match.
Yeah, it's all alliteration. Peter
Yeah.
Parker, yeah.
Yeah, so it's just, I'm pretty sure they just went with Morales, but why did Jeff go with, or like choose, like you were saying, like why isn't it Miles?
Yeah,
Morales?
like I get the comic reasoning for it, but what is the in-universe reasoning? Because it's not like they're separated. They're happily married together. Like, he just does not have his father's name.
Maybe they just like, well, I think they kept each other's names, but the children maybe, because I'm not familiar with, like once you have a kid, where you can name the kid. I always assume like it's just like whatever the dad's name, but like I guess you could also choose the.
Well, they'll ask at the hospital because I've seen it happen. They'll be like, "What's the father's name?" And you'll be like, "Oh, it's blah blah blah," and they'll just immediately. They won't even ask you like, "Do you want to name the kid that?" They'll just be like, "All right, this is little baby, Morales or Davis or whatever."
Yeah.
And that's it. It's stuck like that until you get the birth certificate and you sign the name.
Yeah.
So that means that she probably fucking got mad because he had to do like an extra shift at the NYPD, and Spanish woman get angry and it's like, fuck him, I'm putting Miles Morales.
It goes off in Spanish.
Yeah.
I really like.
Go ahead, like, yo de puta.
I really like that this Spider-Man was not only was he's black, but he was also Spanish.
I think that's really the main reason, is because you look at him and he has like, the puffed up hair and he's dark skinned, so you automatically assume he's black. So they added the Morales name because they want you to know he's also Spanish.
Yeah, I really like that.
His community too. Like when he left his house and he was like, "Yo, Miles, how's the new school?" And he's like, you miss me. Wait.
Yeah.
I live
It was the girl. It was the girl. It's like, you miss me?
Neuron activation.
Yeah. It's like, I have a chance.
But it's really nice because you also hear him speak Spanish as well.
They do a good job of that in the game too. It never really comes up in the comics.
Really?
Probably because, spoiler alert, in the comics his mom fucking dies.
Damn.
That's his Uncle Ben moment in the comics is his mom. And his dad fucking hates Spider-Man.
It was like, Dad, do you really hate Spider-Man? He's like, yeah. He's like,
in the movie, his dad's like, yeah, I don't really agree with him. I don't like the vigilante stuff. In the comics, his dad's like, I want to see him fucking strung up. I want him dead. Like vile, putrid hatred. He hates Spider-Man.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, next question. What was Miles doing when he got bit by the spider?
Really, dude?
I know. What do you want me to say? We went through
Tagging up at a abandoned part of the subway.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right, next one. What What powers does Miles have that the other spider people don't have?
Invisibility and the Venom Shock.
Yeah.
Ooh,
And he can hug his parents.
wow.
The greatest superpower of all.
I wish I could do that.
That would.
Anyway, next question. Okay, let's see if you guys really know this one. I thought this one, I didn't. It took me a minute. I had to rewatch it to find out this question. What was the name of the private school Miles went to?
Brooklyn Visions Academy.
Damn.
Bro, I know my stuff,
Damn.
Brett. I'm a huge Spider-Man fan.
I can see that.
I've read the entire Ultimate series. I know everything about Miles, bro.
Crazy because I only thought it was Vision Academy.
Brooklyn Visions
Brooklyn.
Academy.
That was the hardest question.
Really?
And I just shrugged that shit off.
You're like, not even like half a second. Visions Academy. Give me an easy one. Okay. Oh god. This one was supposed to be the easy one. After that one, what was the number on the spider that bit Miles?
42.
Yeah.
In the original, it's spiders created by Oscorp. They're genetically altered, and that's the 42nd one. So they were trying to recreate Spider-Man, and it worked.
All right, next question. Where was the place that Peter and Miles broke into to make another goober?
You want to take this one?
Go for it.
Alchemax.
Oh my god! I should have come up with harder. I'm gonna come up with harder questions.
Yeah, I got a question for you.
Oh god.
What is Miles's roommate's name?
I don't know. I was like, I literally don't know. Like, I was like, is that supposed to be Ned? I was like, wait, no, like, it can't be Ned because that doesn't work. I was like, it's not. It's like it can't be Harry.
Well, the funny thing is, for like the Homecoming movies, they basically took Miles's roommate and named him Ned, because the real Ned isn't anything like the way he is in those movies. They basically took this character and renamed him and gave him to Peter. But his name's Genki Lee.
Genki
Yeah.
Lee. Did they say his name anywhere in the movie?
Nope.
That was like I actually looked to find that out. Like if they physically said, like, I try to make questions so that it literally is mentioned in the movie. Like anything mentioned, like, but like if it wasn't mentioned, I didn't like bring it up. So
I'm just flexing my knowledge, bro.
I know. I was like, you gave me a question I couldn't answer because I'm like, unless I did more research, I would have known.
Get on my level, noob.
Damn. How the tables have turned. Damn. Okay. I'm skipping one question. I'm going to this one. What was Spider Noir's favorite drink?
I'm waiting to see if Jay's gonna answer.
I actually don't.
He mentions it that it's his favorite drink.
It's egg creams.
Oh.
Like I got Jay though.
He said it. I just don't remember.
Yeah, it's just like a passing thing. He says.
Yeah, it was like very subtle. He said it and it just moved on. I was just like, oh, okay.
Damn. That one was my second hard one. Because they briefly mentioned, like, it's almost like they dismiss it entirely after he says it. So I was like, that's it. I'm gonna trip him up.
What was the one that you skipped?
Wait, let me see. What do Doc Ock's friends call her?
Oh. Gee, I wonder.
I also wonder.
You were actually the one to say it.
I know.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like my friends call me Liv. Nice.
Man, I hope we're passing.
You guys are like 9 out of 10 passing. Except for you, you're like you're straight A's right now.
Yeah.
How does Miles make? You already went through this one too. How does Miles make his own How does Miles make a suit? You actually went to vivid detail how he made the suit.
Let's go.
Oh my god.
He ordered it on
Okay.
eBay.
Okay, here's last question. Because I didn't. We blew this way too. We went through these way too fast. How does Spider-Man know he won't mess things up, and whether or not he could truly have what it takes to be Spider-Man?
Really?
Yeah, that was the last one. That was supposed to be an easy one.
You don't.
That's all a leap of faith.
Yes, sir.
That was it.
Yeah.
That was it. And because you guys did so well, I got you guys something. You guys will get in the mail sometime in the next couple weeks.
How do you have my address?
I was just gonna send it to Randy, and then you probably have Randy deal with it. Oh, I'm sorry, Lizer.
Yeah, who the fuck is that?
I don't know.
I have no clue who that is.
A friend I know in New York who could send it to you guys. It's my man on the inside.
That's crazy. I'm gonna have to change my address now.
I had a man inside me.
Wait.
Oh man.
my god.
So you guys want another fun fact about the movie?
Yes.
You know how when they like peer into like the beam that shows all the other universes and they just see that web?
Yeah.
That's the web of life, and that's basically what connects every spider person to each other and to what's called the spider totems, which are like this godlike thing that gives them their power. And it's also the reason that they have spider sense and why the spider sense connects all of them.
Oh.
It's like literally threads of fate. So every
So
Spider-Man was destined to be Spider-Man.
Wow.
Yeah.
So there just are no accidents.
Basically, it was touched upon because this movie isn't the first time that they have a Spider-Verse like crossover thing.
Yeah.
A lot of people think it was the comics that did it, like back in 2014, I think, or 2013, somewhere around there. It wasn't actually. It was actually the old 90s Spider-Man cartoon was the earliest one I could think of. Towards the end of that cartoon, they had a big crossover event with Spider-Man from different realities all coming together to stop Spider Carnage, which was just Peter who was absorbed by Carnage and went crazy. So
That's actually really cool.
Yeah, that's like the oldest one I could think of. And then there's, the big Spider-Verse connection in the comics. There was a game called Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions, and that involved normal Spider-Man, Ultimate Universe Spider-Man that had the black suit, Spider-Man Noir, and 2099 Spider-Man. And then that game also had a sequel that was just normal Spider-Man and 2099 Spider-Man.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm excited to see 2099 in the next movie. It seems like they're trying to pose him as like a bad guy right now because they're showing him chasing Miles, but obviously that's not going to be the case.
Oh, I thought he was. I thought he was a villain.
He's a bit of a hard ass, but he's not a villain.
Almost like a anti-hero kind of thing.
Not even so much anti-hero. He's not a comedian. He's just not at all like a happy-go-lucky type of guy like Peter is.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah. Look up his backstory. It explains why. Like he went through some shit.
All right.
Did you send in pictures of the things you're sending, or no?
Oh no. I'll keep that part a surprise.
Okay.
I was like, that's the only thing I could keep a surprise. But it is related to the movie.
Okay, dope.
Yeah.
So if there's nothing else for this that you guys want to bring up, I can go ahead and say what we're watching next week. Yeah,
what'd you pick for this next week?
I'll be honest, this is a show that I personally love. If everyone just watches the 5 episodes, I don't think this is gonna get a very good rating next week, because this is kind of more of a slow burn show. But I'm still willing to give it a try, and it is Black Lagoon.
Ooh.
Any history
Heard
with
of
that?
It's Revy, I
Yeah.
think. Or
Yeah, Revy.
I've only heard of that.
Only
I
heard
don't
of
think
it?
I've actually watched it.
And you, James?
I have watched it. I think I watched. I think there was a movie too. I think I watched it too.
Mhm.
But it's I. You told me about this before, and I watched it, and it came out. It was actually pretty good. It's very When did it come out? In the 90s or like in the early 2000s?
I think the early 2000s.
Yeah, but still, like it still holds. Like it doesn't like you can watch it now and it's still like it passes the test of time, I guess.
Yeah,
in a
and I think
sense.
there's even like OVAs that were released recently too that adapted like further on in the manga. But I think like given just the 5 episodes, because those 5 episodes like it doesn't really set off until like midway through season 1, to be honest. But it's still entertaining in those 5 episodes. It's just more of a slow burn.
Yeah.
But hopefully you guys will be into that, and hopefully anyone watching will be into it. Forward to it. It's a very action oriented show.
How many episodes is it?
I don't remember, dude. I think season 1 has like 24 episodes, probably. I think
Yeah,
I
it
think
has
it's
as much episodes as like you would think, because like I thought it ended a little prematurely, at least to how like at least like a progression the way
Mm.
things are. Like it kind of like I don't really know how to describe it, but like
we
I
could
feel
talk
like
about that
I
next
could-
week when we when we review it.
Yeah, yeah.
But I get what you mean. But it's 2 seasons and then like I think a couple of OVAs.
Yeah.
Okay.
So look forward to that.
Yeah.
But that's it for now. I am gonna go to sleep. Have a good
one.
yeah.
See ya.
Jesus. Have a good one, everyone. Happy holidays. Enjoy if
Merry
you celebrate
Christmas.
them.
Happy holidays.
Happy
Hanukkah.
late
whatever.
Hanukkah. Funny enough,
Kwanzaa.
I wasn't gonna choose Black Lagoon for next week. I was gonna choose Adam Sandler's 8 Crazy Nights. And I decided not to.
Damn, you should have. Damn, I haven't seen that movie in forever.
I saw it like 2 days ago.
I also saw it like 2 days ago.
Let's go.
So,
Have a good week, everyone.
have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.